Hi, my name is Alex Newman, and today I want to talk to you about the deep state, and especially the deep state bureaucracy. So this video is actually a part of a series relating to the deep state. We have 5 parts to it, and one of the key components of the deep state, and this is probably the most widely recognized component of the deep state, is the federal bureaucracy. The federal bureaucracy has almost 3 million civilian employees. That doesn't include the armed forces, our soldiers, and that also doesn't include the 20 million government workers that we have at the state and the local level. So we're talking about a massive bureaucracy. And superficially at least, it's very clear why this has been called the deep state in recent months since Trump has become the president. We have Trump sitting on top of a bureaucracy that absolutely opposes him and despises everything he stands for. Now, this is not a pro or anti-Trump statement. It's just a factual statement that the bureaucracy that Trump is ostensibly in charge of, the bureaucracy that Trump was elected to run by the American people, or by their electors at the Electoral College, is anti-Trump. In fact, we have hard data to prove this. If The Hill did a very interesting investigation looking at the donations of federal bureaucrats, and what they found was that something like 95% of all the political money that was donated to the presidential candidates went to Hillary Clinton. At some of the bureaucracies, it was like 99.7, 99.8% of the money went to Hillary Clinton. So we're talking massive disparities, and I think in almost every case, with one exception where it was like 80-something, we're talking more than 90% of the money went to Hillary Clinton. So we do have this kind of permanent state, as I've heard some people call it, this entrenched bureaucracy that really does have its own interests and has its own desires. And even if you use the conventional explanation of why this deep state is so opposed to Donald Trump, for example, which is that they're worried he might start firing some bureaucrats and start clipping their wings, so to speak, and reducing their power, we still have this permanent class that is beyond the reach of the American voter, right? We can't unelect bureaucrats. In fact, we have civil service laws that make it almost impossible to get rid of them, as Donald Trump has figured out very quickly. It's almost impossible. Even if they're involved in criminal activity, it's very difficult to get rid of them. And we have this permanent class there. Now, the fact that this bureaucracy is in favor of more federal government is, I think, quite clear and quite self-evident. The fact that it opposes Trump, I think, is also very clear and self-evident. But there's other components to it which are troubling as well. And I want to point to one in particular. At this point, nobody knows exactly how many federal regulations there are that have criminal penalties attached to them. When certain members of Congress tried to ask the Congressional Research Service to figure out how many criminal regulations there were with criminal penalties attached, they said, we don't have the resources or the manpower to figure that out. So there are more regulations that can put you in jail or make you a criminal than anybody in the world knows. There's literally nobody on earth that we know of who knows how many regulations there are with criminal penalties attached. And there's been a lot of work done in this field by attorneys and legal experts who've pointed out that every American adult, every single American adult has likely violated many of these. In fact, there was a book that came out, 3 felonies a day, dealing with this issue. They said that the average American violates 3 of these per day, commits 3 federal felonies per day without even realizing it. So you can imagine that if anybody were to oppose or cross the deep state, they could, in theory, be prosecuted for violating some obscure federal regulation that you never heard of. So there very much is a deep state bureaucracy in Washington, D.C. It is very much a threat not only to our elected president, but more importantly, to our Constitution and to our ability to govern ourselves. In fact, one of the reasons we set up this country was so that we could engage in this experiment of self-government. We're going to try to govern ourselves through our elected representatives under the Constitution, and as they said in the Declaration of Independence, the purpose of the government is to protect our rights. Unfortunately, we've moved a long way from that, and the deep state bureaucracy is only one small component to this. It's probably the least important because a deep state swamp creature in the bureaucracy can come and go, and yet the whole system keeps operating. So stay tuned. We've got a series on the deep state, and you'll find the links for them below. Please click on the articles or the videos and learn more about the deep state and what we can do to rein in this out-of-control machine, if you will, that is running roughshod over our liberties and over our Constitution.